Kit, Tuesday night at Bolton really was the game of two halves scenario, going ahead, playing so well in the first half and then conceding just before half time, and it was a different team in the second half. Can you tell us what happened?
It was really frustrating at the moment. It's a little bit of a common theme, which is becoming annoying and, like I said, frustrating. But we're playing very well for periods or half of the game, and in my opinion, looking the better side and the more dangerous side, the more likely to score. But then when we're on top and dominant in games, not really sort of making our chances and our possession and our dominance count, and by getting the goals, very frustrating to see the goal right in the stroke of half time or just before half time. And then half time team talk was saying we need to do more of the same, keep pressing them, keep the runs in behind, which are causing them big problems. And our movement, they changed their shape slightly, but not enough to be an excuse, and we were just on the back foot. They put us under pressure from the start of the half. We had quite a few corners, but we actually defended them quite well. There's one cost us cleared off the line, but overall we defended them pretty well. And even at stages like that, when you're not playing particularly well and the other team's on top, that's where you got to dig in at times and stay resilient and certainly not concede.
Is that one of the things about having a young team? It's that kind of not maximising on those chances and then having to be more resilient, and when those chances haven't gone for you, it's your confidence starts to go.
Well, it is. I mean, I talk about the trust, honesty and belief within the whole football club, but obviously ultimately, especially within that first team group, and belief is a funny thing, and confidence obviously linked very closely to that, and it needs to be built on solid foundations, and we're still trying to build it and trying to improve it, and it's almost a chicken and egg thing. Winning games gives you that belief, but then with the belief you win games, so it's one of them's got to come first, sort of thing. So, but
not taking those chances also causes a little bit of frustration, and you could kind of see that a little bit in the second half.
There is a bit, and people get frustrated, then we'll get a bit flustered, and rather than clear our lines with a little bit of culture, if you like, almost when we're under no pressure, we're just kicking it away and slashing at the ball, and whereby first half we were, if we win the ball back on the edge of our own box, we'd then take care with it and build an attack. So it's the same situation and just dealt with very differently because of a different mindset. So that's what we need to change. And we had a meeting with the players. We showed the video from Tuesday night's game, and everyone was of the same sort of mindset. It's just the confidence goes, and then people start becoming nervous. A couple of mistakes creep in, and it has that knock-on effect. But so we need to change it. We can change it because I say the frustrating thing is we can play so well at times, and that's frustrating. But that also gives me great belief. I played in the Fulham team who played really good football to get up out of the Championship. So I know you can play good football in this division and be very successful and do well. But ultimately, we need to tighten up in other areas to then allow our good football to be able to be what shines through.
And so to tomorrow, Ipswich, a different proposition again, coming, riding high in the league, doing very well on the cusp of playoff positions. How is that going to go for you? What kind of tactical changes would you make? What personnel do you have at your disposal? Talk us through tomorrow.
Well, there'll be, Mick McCarthy's sort of very wily. He's been around a long time and knows this league particularly very, very well. So, there'll be no surprises from an Ipswich team. They'll be very strong, very organised, and they got some good players as well. And obviously Mick's a very good manager. So, we know it's going to be very tough. But most Championship games are. You're not going to get any easy ones, that's for sure. I'm conscious of a few things that haven't been going. A few areas of the pitch that haven't been going particularly well for us, and without sort of saying too much, we're looking to address those, and there'll be a couple of sort of slight changes to how we do things, which I think are probably needed at the moment. Not that I'm going away from the things I believe in, because I wouldn't, and I won't do that. But also I'm not so stubborn that I'm not willing to change things. I just want this team and this football club to do well, and I'll do what's necessary for that to happen.
And so in terms of playing personnel, there are Tim Hoogland played 60 minutes in the game against Spurs, the friendly in midweek, which is very positive. But Fernando Amorobieta wasn't able to feature in that game. Are they any closer to first team positions, or is that not even in the reckoning for?
No, getting a lot closer. Tim now, having had the 45 against West Ham and the 60 against Spurs, is getting very close now. So I just want to up him again so he's fully fit then, fully match fit and ready to go. He's chomping at the bit now to get back involved, which is brilliant. That's exactly what I want. But also, I'm conscious when he comes back in, I want him back in to stay, and we need to do what's right by him. But he's very close now. Obviously, Fernando unfortunately picked up a slight thigh strain, so he missed Wednesday. So he did 45 against West Ham last Friday, but he's now that little bit behind Tim, because although he's looking good in training, most of the training is in smaller areas until you actually get that match exposure. You're never quite ready, so that he needs to top that up a little bit and get a bit more game time under his belt, and then he'll be ready. But he's looking very good in training, so that's a positive too.
And of course, the talking point at the moment is Bryan Ruiz and that loan move falling through for Levante. Whether or not he is able to feature, whether he's happy enough to feature, you tell us about Bryan.
Yeah, well, I was speaking to Bryan this morning. He's very disappointed that the move fell through. And I'm disappointed for him because I know how much he wanted it to happen. But we had a good chat this morning. He's a good person, Bryan, a good professional and a good player. So he's back with us now. He'll crack on, knuckle down with his training and work his socks off between now and the end of the season.
But presumably not available tomorrow because he's missed so much training.
He's missed quite a bit of training. I mean, he's potentially might be involved as a substitute tomorrow. Trained very well again today. Trained yesterday. So he's got a chance of being involved on the bench tomorrow, but he certainly won't be starting.
And the president of Levante was saying that Fulham didn't play its part in the loan move going through. That's simply not the case, is it?
No, it's all. I mean, it's left quite late to the last day of the Spanish window, which was more down to them than us, that's for sure. And when you leave things so late, there's always that chance it won't quite go through on time. Now, all our paperwork was through on time. It was close, but it was through on time, and the FA have backed us in our case there. So all our stuff was done on time. It was at the other end that things didn't quite go through in time. And
the most important thing is that Bryan, now for Fulham, will play until the end of the season and is committed to that.
Absolutely. Bryan understands, ultimately it's a job. Fulham pay his wages. He's a Fulham player till that changes. And he's a good person and a good professional, like I say. So he'll knuckle down and get on with it.
We wish you luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Cheers.